So I thought I would do a little introduction, maybe reintroduction for some of you here because I've been seeing a few new faces. So let's just settle in and get cozy. I'm in my pajamas. I have my mug of tea, my chipped nails, and I'm just gonna share more about me, why I created this page, and what we're doing here. I love this, by the way. It was one of my like Secret Santa Christmas gifts. Okay. So, my name is Deja, and I was born and raised in the Virgin Islands, but now I'm living in Rhode Island. So, that's in the northeast of the US. And under this page and this platform, I help high achieving women like you. I'm assuming that's why you're here, right? Heal your hormones, really release that stress and trauma that comes from being a high performer, and create what I like to call a soft, juicy, and successful life. So, over the past like 7 years, I've helped over 250 women do this, and it's been really amazing. I've done in-person coaching, online, group, one-on-one offerings. I've done retreats, and it has been just really rewarding. I did not think that this would be my path, but here I am. So I've really loved this path that I found myself on, but it wasn't always in my plan. So I grew up with a lot of holistic wellness in the Caribbean by virtue of, I think, the culture in general. You know, it's a small island in St. Thomas, at least where I grew up, and a lot of people just grow food in their yard. Even if they don't call themselves a farmer or an herbalist, we grow a lot of food and medicinal herbs, just I think organically. And then there are obviously people who will take it to the extreme, live in the bush and grow absolutely everything that they eat or consume. So I've always had that in my culture, in my upbringing. My grandmother was super into it too. She's definitely a bush woman. But for a long time, I sort of shunned that because I wanted to chase this notion of success, that I thought that I needed to feel complete. So I was that kid growing up who was super perfect, at least for the first like 19, 20 years of my life. I was winning a lot of awards, acing all my classes, straight A's. I was the valedictorian. I started college at 16 years old, literally a baby. All because I was told that that's what I needed to be successful, but that's what I would find value in, right? We we see these people in the world around us who are celebrated. We're sold that there's this dream to achieve, and it usually looks like the path that I found myself on. And for a while, I did feel successful. For a while, I did feel like, wow, this is worth it. Until I think about, so I was um, at my dream school doing all of the things, taking a full load of courses I really liked, working full time. And I remember at one point, I just felt really burnt out. I was like mentally exhausted. I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. My body was rebelling. I was losing a lot of weight and hair. I was having like multiple periods a month. I just knew something was not okay. And at that point, I knew that I was no longer successful, whatever that meant. And it wasn't because of the outside world. On the outside world, I still looked pretty okay, right? I knew that something was happening internally. And it was this shift, not just the physical symptoms, but this energetic shift. And I realized that it doesn't matter what your life looks like to other people if you are miserable. And I was miserable at that point. And that's when I knew I needed to make a change. So that's when I decided to blow that life up. Oh my goodness. So I sold like everything that I owned. I even like literally anything that I could. I left my people pleasing tendencies behind and I set out to travel the world. And my goal, honestly, was to reconnect with myself and really learn what I held valuable, not what other people told me was valuable, but what I held valuable. Um, I always wanted to learn more about other cultures and languages. My whole life, I was studying international and public affairs, so that really was aligned with that interest. But more importantly, I wanted to learn what health and well being look like across the world. So I went full on nomad backpacker. I shaved my head. This was about the end of 2017, early 2018. I shaved my head. I was living out of a backpack, and I decided to head out to Southeast Asia. So I've done things like study yoga in India. I taught English while studying herbs in Vietnam. I was working with a healer in Guatemala. I've done so many amazing things that honestly I could have only dreamed of up until that point. So, why am I telling you this, right? You're probably like, okay, this is pretty interesting, but what's the point? So, while that journey was filled with a lot of interesting places and people and just life changing adventures, what it really taught me was to come home to myself and the practices I was raised in. I learned that more than anything, success meant feeling safe and satisfied within my own body, right? Having health and wellness. It's so cheesy, but your health is your greatest wealth. And that is what this crazy journey of life has taught me. Also, while in that backpacking phase of my life, I started sharing a lot about what I was going through on a blog, which eventually morphed into this business. And this platform is just one part of it. And I just wanted other people to know, people like me who were doing all of the right things and hitting all of these societal markers of success, that you can heal, right? And by maybe being too vulnerable and sharing what it took for me to heal my hormones and my stress and trauma and step into my soft, juicy, and successful life, I've been able to not only inspire people, but invite them into my world and help facilitate that healing as well. So it has been such a blessing. The craziest thing that I could have never predicted. But I think it's always where I was supposed to be. So while I am more rooted now, I still really love travel, and those experiences have always shaped me and my work. And I think as I continue to explore this world in a slower, more sustainable pace, they will continue to inform me and the way that I show up online and for my clients. And 7 years after I started that journey, I am just grateful that I get to not only create content here, but just hold space for other people to heal as well. So if you've made it this far, drop a hi, because this is possibly the longest video I've filmed outside of YouTube. Let me know, like, what is your experience like with this? Um, have you ever been burnt out? What have you taken to heal? And yeah, I'm so excited. Cheers to the next chapter. Peace.